She said if you're gonna be this quiet maybe you should just leave. I nodded and walked out without a word. She laughed with her friends until the waiter returned holding what I'd left behind. Her voice was low, but I heard every word perfectly. If you're gonna be this quiet maybe you should just leave. I didn't argue, didn't defend myself, just looked at her, nodded and stood up. I pulled out my wallet, took out my credit card and walked straight to the front where our waiter was standing. Hey man, I need you to do me a favor. I'm paying for the entire table. Everything, drinks, food, dessert, but I need you to wait exactly 5 minutes after I leave before you tell them. He looked confused but nodded, and I handed him my card, signed the receipt for $473. I walked out into the cold November air and sat in my car, hands shaking, not from anger, but from this strange sense of clarity. My phone started buzzing after about 10 minutes. First, a text from Melissa. Where did you go? Then everyone's asking about you. Then Jake, seriously, this is embarrassing. I didn't respond, drove home, packed a bag and went to my brother's place across town. A quiet night one. The texts started flooding in around midnight. Melissa called 17 times, leaving voicemails that went from confused to angry to apologetic to angry again. The last one around 2 a.m. was her crying, saying, I do understand why you redoing this. You paid for everyone and just left. Do you know how humiliating that was for me? They think I did something horrible. They think we're breaking up. I listened twice, then deleted it. The next morning I woke up to a text from Amanda saying thanks for dinner. Generous, like I was some benevolent third party and not the guy they spent 2 hours treating like garbage. Melissa showed up at my brother's apartment on Sunday afternoon, but I watched from the window until she left. Monday I got a long email subject line, can we please talk about this like adults? The email itself was a masterpiece of deflection, saying she was sorry I felt disrespected, but her friends didn't mean anything. She claimed I was overreacting and paying for dinner was a manipulative power move that made her look bad. Not once did she say she was wrong or acknowledge how she treated me. I replied with one sentence, I think we need space, I'll come get my things next week. She didn't take that well, calling my mom, who told me she'd been biting her tongue about how Melissa treated me. Melissa started spinning her version to mutual friends, claiming I was irrationally jealous and threw a tantrum. But when friends reached out to get my side, they responded with, yeah, that tracks honestly. Wednesday night I went back to our apartment when I knew she'd be at her spin class. Packing methodically clothes, books, my grandfather's watch and the coffee maker she never used but I loved. She said, if you're gonna be this quiet maybe you should just leave. I nodded and walked out without a word. She laughed with her friends until the waiter returned holding what I'd left behind. I left the blazer she bought me hanging in the closet, left the spare key on the counter. I was walking out with my last box when she came home early. Jake, wait please. I stopped and turned around. She looked exhausted, no makeup, hair in a messy bun. For a second she looked like the girl I'd fallen for 3 years ago. I'm sorry, she said. I was awful that night. I got caught up in trying to impress them, or something. It was stupid. It wasn't just that night, I said. It's been months, Melissa. Every time we're with them you treat me like I'm in the way. Like I'm not good enough for your new life. That's not true, she said, but I reminded her you told me to leave at dinner. You specifically told me if I was gonna be quiet I should leave. She flinched, saying I didn't mean. I cut in saying you did, and I did exactly what you asked. I left and made sure you didn't have to worry about the bill or looking cheap, and somehow I'm still the bad guy? She started crying, the real ugly kind, saying I don't want to lose you. You already did. I said you just didn't notice I left. This time I didn't look back. Final update, it's been 2 months. I'm living in a quiet 1-bedroom and adopted a shelter dog named Rookie, who sleeps at the foot of my bed and doesn't care if I'm quiet. Melissa texted me a few times asking if I wanted my half of the couch. I kept my responses short and practical. Eventually the texts stopped. I ran into Amanda at a coffee shop. She said Melissa had been going through it, and the friend group had mostly disbanded, apparently too much drama. My brother asked if I regretted walking out. I told him no. The only thing I regret is staying quiet for so long before that night. I'm glad I paid that bill, not as revenge, but as the last thing I did on my terms. I chose when to leave, I chose how to leave. Rookie just nudged my hand with his nose. I think it's time for a walk. Edit 1. People are asking what that $473 was for. 4 appetizers, entrees, 3 bottles of wine and cocktails, and they ordered tiramisu for the table after I left. Worth every penny to never sit through another dinner like that. Edit 2. Someone asked if Melissa ever admitted she was wrong. She said she was sorry. I felt that way, which is not the same thing. That tells you everything you need to know.